Attack on Titan! So, oh. The manga's ending, eh? The manga's ending. Very, very, very few. Yeah, so Ishiyama, the author, right, he has said that he is ending the manga now in chapter, I guess, like 140 or 109, because it's ending in April, right? So this is January, of course. New Year's, Happy New Year's, everyone. January, February, March, April, right? So it's supposed to be like 4 chapters more. I would still expect him to kind of do like a longer, probably finish. The last chapter is probably longer though. I'm guessing, hoping, but yeah, we're at the end game, right? We're at the end game. Of course, we all knew it was going to end soon. I mean, it can't be said for a while now, but I think it was the news 2-3 days ago. We kind of announced that it's ending in April, right? So kind of official announcement. But anyway, here we are then to read, of course, and react and review to chapter 136, right? That was released today, I think. Been busy today, but there's a new anime patches one. But here, time code for the manga, and obviously we're doing the anime reaction on Sunday. Yeah, no anime last week, but should be back this week, right? When they kind of into. I mentioned it was in the last review there, but as I expected, right, they really cut away a lot of stuff from the manga. As I expected, they really paced down the Marley side of things, right, and really went into the to the Eren stuff. Yeah, very quick as I expected, because you can get a lot of that stuff. But anyway, so last time, of course, so spoilers now if you're anime only. Now it's manga time. Yeah, with your I don't know, you can fly, flying Titan. I mean, that's pretty obvious you're gonna fly, of course. Falco is like, I'm a dreamer. We saw it in the anime too, for that matter. It's episode 1 of the anime, this final season, right? Which, of course, now we can, how I say it, that basically roughly around the timer, yeah. Episode 1 of the anime, is that even after last chapter, whatever, but roughly the same time, right? Because Falco is like dreaming of, I can see birds or something and flying in the sky. So, pass, I guess. And some people claiming that he has to eat Eren then, because Eren has the power to pass. But I don't see necessarily why, because I don't see why Eren necessarily would be the only one having, like, to me, path doesn't have to be connected to the advanced Titan. It's more probably that Eren has the power of the whole thing, right? If anything. But anyway, yeah. So I don't see why Falco couldn't be able to, think about his future just for his own powers. At least to me, it doesn't mean that Falco's gonna eat Eren now, because that's how you can see the future in the anime. The anime is more like that, right? In the manga, it's a bit too, but the anime is definitely more. But I don't see why the other Titans also couldn't have, like, I can see my future or my past or whatever the time thing. So I don't see that how that necessarily is an Eren or Attack on Titan power. I mean, the Advanced Titan power, purely. But I'm just dropping it there, because given the whole Yggdrasil and the tree thing and so on, right, everyone is connected, so I don't see why all Titans could do the same power, right? It depends on, I mean, the other Jaws couldn't fly. For that matter, though, I've said it last chapter too, I said before I reading here, but I find it a little strange though, so I guess it can happen now here, right? That, as you see, Falco can fly now, it's the flying powers, but why is none of the Asian Titans, that Eren is like resurrecting, whatever you call it, right? He's recreating old Titans, right? Why don't they have wings too? I mean, some of them, of course, should be the Titan, right? So what I think is going to happen now then, probably, right, is that he's probably going to be like, you're flying away from me, and he's probably going to create flying Titans. Like, Eren should be able to also create, previous Yaw Titans they can fly with. And also, of course, for that matter, why is it even called then the Yaw Titan if it actually is the Bird Titan? It's the Beak Titan! Why is it even called the Yaw Titan if it could fly? Historically, it could fly, so... But whatever, let's go in. Yeah, so of course the parents are like, people are flying on that badass Bird Titan! What's happening? What you doing here, Gabby? Like, I'm the real main character, I'm here, of course. Okay, so Gabby is there. Anne is there, of course. Best Girl is there. Well, we could just leave. I want to go. Like Anne last was like, I mean, I don't really care about this world stuff, but I want to be on a fly Titan. So Anne was like, sundering it last week, and she was like, I mean, I don't want to save you guys, but I really wanted to fly on the Titan, so that's why I'm here. And the ship sank, and I wanted to fly. Oh, okay. It sank because he flew away. He was okay. Like whatever. This is fly. You need to repay your kindness. Of course I do. Mr. Brown, or it's back to the train scene in her band, isn't it? You're gonna save Gabby from the dark future. I will save my Gabby! And of course, and it's like, how's Armin? You know, the guy I don't like. I'm not Tsundere. Yeah, the boy I don't like, you know, kinda. And Pieck, and I like how she's kinda like, you know, easing it in there. How's Armin? I mean, how's Pieck? You know, it's like easing it in there. I'm carrying about all of them. I love them all equally, yeah. I don't love Armin in particular. And of course, Mikasa is like, oh, and Armin is kidnapped. my Armin! So yeah, whatever. It's clearly a love story. I want to see them. I ship them. I want to see Armin and Annie ending up together in the end. But yeah, the Titan took the Armin. I mean, as you know, Armin is somehow captured by. They love getting kidnapped, don't they? Yeah, where's Pieck? Where's Beskar? I mean, she kinda got impaled, right? I don't think she died though, because I mean, Pieck didn't. It wasn't the nape, right? Yeah, and Pieck didn't get in. She didn't hit in the nape. She got hit in like the stomach, so I don't think she's dead from that. Yes, you know, Captain Levi almost being alive. One group will rescue Armin. We could use the Cross Titan explosion to. We could use him to explode on the demolition. Otherwise, I mean, you could use Eren. I mean, you could use Armin to explode on it. Otherwise, yeah, Lev, of course, like we have to kill Eren because he's the bad guy. But so I'm thinking too that you go back, because I said that last chapter, it was like, here comes the flying Titan and saves them, and then it's like, oh, they usually go back again. I mean, yeah, they're gonna fly in and be like, actually, let's go back, because they're like, whoop, we have to save the world, right? That's the problem here. Like, he saved them from, you know, the Titan, and it's like, wait, actually, we should have to just go back because we have to save the world, right? Because leaving now and the planet's being destroyed doesn't really help us that much. So let's just like circle back. Probably. So Jean is all depressed, as always. There was a whole lot I won't tell it either, but yeah. I want to get up with Eren, but maybe we have to kill him. See, let me here. There's a lot of like armor Titan. Why doesn't Eren has a flying Titan? Like I'm saying again here, I expect Eren to at any moment now create his own flyers, right? So now he has different armor and like, you know, different peaks and so on with his flying Titan. We need to kill Eren, exactly. Kill goddamn Eren. Can Mikasa finally kill Eren? Okay, so you just go and save Armin, Mikasa. Save Armin. Yeah, don't think about Eren. Don't think about it. You save the boy. Not the boy. Not the boy you love. When Eren's head went flying. Yeah, and Gab is like, but I already killed Eren at least once. Like, come on. You know all over it. Gab is gonna be the one to kill Eren, right? But she's like, I have killed Eren at least once before. I shot Flosh and I shot Shasa. I am, after all, the plot sniper. So I mean, Gabby is probably aware by now that she's the, you know, the real main character with the power to kill another character, right? She's probably gonna kill Eren. It's a good point. There's a really weird thing there, how that centipede, like the rib, let's call it. It's like the nape. It's like the myriad of the brain, right? They kind of created this weird. I mean, yeah, Eren managed to kind of, you know, grow out to seek, like becoming a bone guy from his body, right? Like a weird Titan power up he had going for it. That sounds really gross. And he's like, that sounds really gross. That was like super gross there. That was like. Interesting point. Maybe there's the power of every Titan. Maybe they all can turn into this weird bone thingy. Think about it. It's a good point. Now when I see that thing, that is a really good point though. No one you know what I see now, which is actually pretty obvious thing about it. When I see Eren and Zeke, you know, like Isayama is, you know, redoing that image right when he grabs Eren. When I see the image here, isn't that actually his same body he has right now, right? Like a one head and all this, like, you know, rib cage, right? Like the centipede thing. I mean, Eren is currently this huge centipede, right? So actually, yeah, that thing that we see there, this like weird bone centipede thing that Eren turned into when Gabby attacked him, right? That is actually kind of what it is right now too. He has the same shape basically, right? Just of course, size-wise, he's like a billion times bigger, right? But yeah, I had talked about it before, but now when I see the thing here again, I'm like, well, yeah, that actually looks exactly the same, right? You know, it has all the bone, the rib cage forever, right? Centipede bone guy, yeah, it's true. I mean, knowing Gabby spots the big thing, it's like, yeah, it looks the same thing, right? Yeah. But he is kind of already the same thing. He's just like bigger. Man, Falco looks really majestic though. It's a very majestic Falco. Okay, is he gonna fight the aliens and Morleys? We're gonna, yeah, they have this weird, you know, we hate each other. But it really feels like they should all just ally up instead, because like, well, maybe we should fight the big monster over there. It feels like a final moment where they're gonna ally up here, right? The aliens and the Morleys, they're like, maybe we should be friends. Jean is like, idiots. Jean, as always, he's like, stop it, you morons! Yeah, of course. Jean is like, come on, man. Oh, here we go. Now all the hammer guys are creating arrows, I guess. They're all creating like projectiles, they're creating like bow and arrows. Or so it's like a javelin, I guess. Armor. But see, this is what I mean, honestly. Why can't, I said it earlier, but why can't he create his own flyers, right? If you can create like this bow guys, why can't you create a flying titan for? Whatever, let's go on, but I see it. Okay, so Falco's speeding up and dives into all those javelins and bows and shit. And yeah, again, when I see that now, the centipede thing, it looks like Eren currently is. Yeah, let's go ahead and have Armin. Jean drops down. God damn it, if Jean dies, man. I'm gonna quit the anime. Quit the manga. Yeah, I won't finish the manga. It's like 3 chapters left. I won't finish the manga if Jean dies. Jean! Don't die on me, Jean! Same to you. So Jean and, yeah, Jean and Rainer has a kind of combo going on, right? And Rainer jumps down, kind of crushes them, fights this random hammer guys, I guess. Mostly hammer titan. You just hold on, Rainer. There's Pieck, I guess, because it's like one, yeah, it has to be Pieck, right? Still that guy holding Pieck over there. Yeah, that's Pieck, you know, with the original hammer, not the original, sorry, but the latest hammer titan, right? The one that Eren ate, of course, the one currently in the anime. Pieck jumps out, so of course Pieck is fine. I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't afraid that Pieck would die though. Best girl Pieck won't die, as expected by Pieck, right? Yeah, but I really didn't expect Pieck to die, honestly. I mean, she was like in pain, you know, in the stomach, right? I mean, we know how Titan works in the nape, so I really didn't expect, as I said last review, I really did not expect Pieck to take any real, like, you know, injuries from the hammer titan. I was like, come on, that was way under her nape and, you know, so on. I mean, yes, she has the whole car titan shaped, right? But still, like, kind of got through her torso, so it's like, no, it's fine. She's fine, expected by best girl Pieck. Still fine. Eren! No, she's like, time to get revenge. That was so good, but she was like, you're the enemy. Oh man, that's good. I love this. She points at Eren. That was so good. But anyway, now we have the vertically maneuver. Must be nice. I guess she's not used to fighting with the whole. And then she transforms again. But now Pieck is like a tinier Pieck Jean, so she gets like the half her body. And so it's double Pieck now. It's like cool. It's a really cool panel because like the Pieck over there, and the new Pieck here, so it's like 2 Piecks. You know, old Pieck, new Pieck. Then she kind of bites the hammer titan, you know, whatever, the one I had earlier. Here we go. Pieck of Jean, of course. Best girl, best boy, teaming up. Damn, is Pieck gonna die now? No, she kind of jumps out again with like. It's interesting kind of because she kind of like. It's like she kind of shoots them out. Like Pieck is escaping by like, you know, like an airplane. She's like, get out! She's really piloting. She's a pilot, definitely. She's using that her body to keep like, I'm just gonna launch myself out of it. Okay, so that looks fine, I guess. And then, you know, Pieck gets crushed. But, you know, it's just the old Pieck. Yeah, so Pieck is really good at creating many Pieck shots. She's like, Pieck is everywhere! She's a master of creating more Piecks. I guess she's the master of doing a lot of... This is expected by Pieck, really. He's turning out like a badass Pieck chapter. Then I guess she's attacking like a Rainer version one, like an armor titan one. They kind of yeah, but like the VC instead, I suppose. That's a kind of armor titan probably. Pieck owns it. And then she shoots like, what is this? This is the best Pieck chapter ever. Pieck has always been a badass character, but she keeps being like, yeah! And expected by Pieck, this chapter is awesome. Pieck just keeps launching herself out again. She leaves. Okay, she's like, oh, I have great endurance, apparently. She has the best endurance ever. And she gets the next one, so Pieck keeps like owning them by jumping out and in. Yeah, a lot of Piecks. The most death scenes ever. Pieck dies like 4 times this chapter. Man. Okay, so Jean, that really looks like Ymir. That looks a lot like Ymir there. The titan next to Pieck there. That looks a lot like, I mean, you know, your titan Ymir, that Ymir, yeah, like looks like her. Oh, now I guess he's like creating mouths out of his bones. God damn it, you bone freak, Eren! I guess he's like creating like a mouth or something out of his, you know, bone or something. I don't know, he's crazy. Back turns into mouth or something, yeah. What's Jean's plan? He kind of jumped down, and all his titans are jumping at him. The titan here actually, I think it looks very similar to the Ymir, you know, the devil, the demon, the Akuma, in the Ymir drawing, right? You know, when she gets the apple, the Marley lies about Ymir, right? That one looks quite similar in the right corner there. It has kind of the same head as that the demon that gave her like the forbidden fruit, right, kind of thing. Which of course is a lie anyway, but still, it looks very similar to that one. Might mean something. Might be the original Titan shape of something, right? Like, it's probably, of course, I mean, I'm thinking like it has to be for a reason, right? Like, it's probably, I mean, I'm gonna guess it's the original of one of the Titans, right? It could be like the original, I don't know, Hammer Titan or Advanced Attack Titan or something, right? Yeah. But anyway, let's go on. But it looks very, I mean, very similar in my opinion. It's kind of like a small image, but still, I think it's the same. For always something like that. I mean, it would make sense if one of Ymir's first form would be that one. So like, why is the Ymir? I mean, we know it's a lie, but why is that Ymir backstory something that Marley have told them, and they had the drawings of that stuff right in the book and so on? Couldn't that be because the first Titan actually looked at that? Like one of the first Titan forms of one of the powers looked at that old demon thing? That would make sense. Like the first demon, or the demon actually was one of the original like 9 Titan powers, something like that. That makes sense. So that's probably why. I was like, maybe a small theory, but I mean that makes sense to me. Yeah, like, that would be like a little small little there. Anyway, let's go on. Falco is flying around looking badass, and Jean, I guess, doesn't really progress really. Oh yeah, they had this Bantle, I guess, the big guy. Let me see over there, but yeah, actually, that's one thing too. Couldn't Eren create huge amount of like explosively close to his win, right? It's very ineffective with powers. Where's all the birds? The pig. Is that pig over there? Oh, interesting. Maybe they are. Stop screaming out names. Doesn't help me. Stop screaming out pig. Maybe it's that one. Maybe it's eaten by. But it really is a pig or an okapi. We call it a pig or something. Yeah, fine. Let's eat the pig then. Yeah, we gotta save my Armin. That's a nice image here. Yeah, Annie jumping out with the wings behind her. Falco's really good for doing cool wallpapers. Yeah, so you go after the pig one to try and save Armin, of course. And then of course Gab's like, I can snipe anything. Gab is landed the frag. She's the best fragger ever. And then she's like, I kept the level. I can kill them all with my rifle. Like, I don't know what that was like, you can't kill Titans with that rifle. I don't know what he bases that on, because if anything, Gabby can kill anything with a rifle. So I think he's completely wrong. Gabby could easily kill them all if he usually shoot right. But anyway, he remember Irvin, of course. Get his backstory here. Yeah, he remembers his old man, his old master, his idol. And Hanji, and yeah. And all the other guys that died in the forest immediately and so on. Those characters, they basically had like one chapter of screen time. Yeah, those guys, you know, they mentioned, and then they all died immediately. Those characters, yeah. We haven't seen Levi do anything for like, I don't know, 10 a year at least. 10, yeah, at least. Yeah, he wants to save Armin, I guess. You know, Armin is the new Irvin, right? In his eyes, definitely. And yeah, we see Hot, of course, Annie going into her, you know, for female hotness titan. There are way too few female titans too, and there's a pig behind her. What is the pig titan then? What's that supposed to be? Cart? Like, actually, what is the pig titan supposed to be? Cart, maybe? Yaw titan? What is it supposed to be? A pig titan. And then, I don't know, like, I think Connie killed like a zombie looking titan. It's a very zombie looking face there. So many weird different titans. Every page is like, oh, look at that titan, look at that thing. Every chapter is like, oh, look at that thing, look at that thing. Well, let's go on. Nice, you can throw Mikasa and it's like crazy. Yeah, this is like a Wolverine strategy, you know, launch me Bob, yeah, and throws Mikasa. If you ever read, you know, it happens in the movies too, right? But especially in the Marvel comics, a very common thing is that the Wolverine, of course, is thrown by like Colossus or so on. Like they throw him right against enemies, but he can use heat anyway. They're like, throw me Bob, and they launch him right like a missile at yeah, Berserker Drill, as they call it in most cases, yeah, like that kind of thing. So yeah, launches Mikasa. I mean, he basically is Wolverine, so it makes sense. You can probably survive taking damage, right? Even though, whatever. So, Okapi, I guess is a name for a... You know what? Let me freaking... And, I don't know, Okapi. Yeah, freaking Google that. Okapi. Okapi. Oh, yeah. No one has seen the image. Yeah, like, it's like a tiny giraffe. Something. It's like a zebra giraffe thing, right? Forest giraffe, zebra. I would call it, yeah, zebra giraffe is what I call it. Probably, I think about it. It's also known as forest giraffe, Congolese giraffe, or zebra giraffe because it has the zebra legs, right? It has the zebra legs. So let me throw it on the screen here. So I'm like, what are they talking about? I do recognize this thing. Like zebra giraffe is probably what I would, as I said, that's what I probably would call it. So I would recognize. That's kind of how it looks, right? Let me show you guys. Because I kept wondering, like, what? Actually, it's like I recognize the word, like it's some kind of animal, right? But you're like, I don't know exactly though how it looks in real life. Here we go. This is an okapi. So it's, as you can see, it kind of has the pig face, right? But it's like a zebra leg thing going on for it. So it has that zebra, yeah, like its legs and its back is zebra color, right? And it's like a similar thing to a giraffe thing too. So it's called like the zebra giraffe. Okapi. But anyway, yeah, it's like, what is... actually, how does he know that? Do they have okapis on Paradise Island? How would she know that? They're like, oh, there's an okapi. I don't know. Whatever. Because there hasn't been a single okapi in the storyline. They're like in Europe. There's no okapis there. Whatever. So Eren is clearly kind of, you know, got this boy Armin, right? So he kind of covers the okapi then with more titans. Of course, Mikasa destroys them all because it's Mikasa, whatever, he easily destroys them, and then yeah, like a Rainer copy or that the Rock Titan can appears, right, and breaks her sword actually. And then Annie appears again, so you know, keep being the two strongest girls, right? The massive powerhouses. Of course, that armor titan was nothing to Annie because it's like Rainer. He's like, knock off Rainer because it dies immediately. Because it's heading for Berthold, I guess, because you know, Colossal Titan and his love story and Annie's stash at it feels like a romantic thing, right? She's like staring at Berthold, you know, the Berthold copy staring at her. Okapi pig things going to that, like the Armin rise. It's a kind of love. It's a kind of love triangle, Attack on Titan love triangle thing going on here. I feel right. Yeah, it's pretty badass. You know, and Anne is. Her asses are very big too. Yeah. It's definitely quite an impressive image. That's a very cool image. She stands there and stares at the kind of flying Bernholt, and she's like, you see her form is quite shown there. No, they're all surrounded, but she has that scream, right? So maybe I don't know. Actually, would help her, but she can do her Titan scream thing, and that wouldn't probably do anything. But anyway, yes, Armin is trying to control his powers. And then we see Rainer getting damaged. Yeah, that's a new thing. Pieck is owning shit. Pieck is like owning everything, so I guess Pieck keeps owning. And Jean is, I don't know, he's like flying somewhere. Jean is like crazy strategy. Everyone seems to be almost be dying here, right? Mika, Annie, and so on. I guess Armin is gonna wake up now and save them by probably exploding. And the thing is that as Armin, if you use turn into his power, right? He's so powerful that he can use like explode anything anyway. Right? So as long as he uses powers up, he's gonna probably save most of them by exploding, right? The life I was given, disputation, it's a lot of self-doubt, I guess. Move. I said move. Sand? I guess it's like a beach thing. Could be the whole going to the ocean, right? How can I think? I'm not dead. I can see oxygen. This is the path. The path. Reality. Ah, yeah, he gets exactly. I can feel the path. Of course, sand. He's gonna be in the desert, right, with Ymir and so on. He's connected to the world. I guess he's gonna meet Eren probably, right, in this world, of course. Of course, Eren is in particular is saving Armin so they can talk, right. He's gonna take Armin so they can have a conversation in the path sand thing, right, of course, in the desert. In his mind. Oh, Zeke is there, building a sand thing, like a cast. He's like sand casteling. Mr. Zeke, hello, Eren's friend. So Ymir ate you too. Intro. Okay, so that would be you eat by Ymir. And then you get into that world. And that's how it ends. And what would that mean then? But maybe Armin can then talk jutsu. Yeah, I was like, So okay, let's review it. I mean, you know how I do this. I review every chapter, right? I mean, sorry, page. I mean, I review them by page chapter. It happens so much usually in Titan per chapter, per page, and so on. So you really can talk a lot about it while going down, right? But anyway, yeah. So of course, you know, it's always cool, right? Seeing Mikasa and Annie teaming up, right? And she's like launching her, and then she's staring at the Bernhold guy, and she's like flexing up there, and it was really a lot of focus on Annie's, her assets. It's like, whoa, they're massive, and it's like, what? Okay, why not? I guess it's like, she's a female Titan after all. So you got that female curves, yeah. So all that, but otherwise, of course, this was a chapter of Pieck, expected by Pieck. A really good Pieck chapter where Pieck shows that her power apparently is she can reproduce her body over and over again. Which, I mean, everyone can do that, so I don't know if that's like a court Titan thing in particular. Or it's just Pieck being badass. I mean, I could see anyone doing that, but, just having a lot of endurance, like a little stamina as a person can do it. But I guess either is that power itself, but I kind of want to think that it isn't the power of being caught, it's power of being Pieck. Right? I kind of want to be like, no, that is not a caught, I think it's a Pieck thing. It's badass. The best female character, clearly. Best girl Pieck. That's kind of what I wanna think, right? Like, is it actually a power of that? Or is it power of being Pieck? like seriously, I'm just like, well, I mean, it's Pieck, and she's like, I'm badass. I can reproduce over and over again, or recreate my body to that, and I can loop this thing forever, right? So that's kind of what I am. I don't know, because otherwise the power is like, oh, the car Titan actually has a lot of endurance or something. Like, I guess because it's like a 14 in the car. It does make so much sense that the car Titan would be the one having the most endurance. Because it's like a mule, right? So it would be the one having basically most, stamina or health points or whatever, right? Like, it makes sense, I guess. Like, it makes sense. but I still wanna say it's a Pieck thing. I still wanna say it's best girl Pieck, right? But sure, like it makes it does make sense that the car titan being like it's just protects after right. It's the mule thing. Like he has a thing on his back, right? The armor when he used cyborg, cyborg, but when it's an exoskeleton cannon thing, you know what I mean? When they armored up her, right? And so on. So she has clearly a lot of endurance, a lot of stamina, a lot of health points, right? So I mean, it makes sense in that sense that Pieck is doing bad stuff, right? But really, though, like I said, last review is one last reaction. I was like, absolutely not expect her to die, right? No, not for a second, right? I mean, she's like, she got, in the torso, like, Pieck, best good Pieck, die from that! So of course she survived that, and then she's just running out. But it was kind of crazy though, when she kept like fighting, and she's like launching out! like for her, the Titan is just like an airplane, yeah. She's like, fight and launching out! Fight, launching out! Like, that looked kind of ridiculous, and she kept like, just, I mean, it's one thing she would be able to recreate new bodies, but she like apparently she can also like launch herself, like an ejection, right? Yeah, ejection button, bam, and then fly up. So suddenly she has the power of ejecting herself in a rapid fashion out in one direction. That's it. I actually think about it more core type the power of anything. She can like fly out of her body like a rocket, because that we haven't seen before. We haven't seen anyone else do that before, where they like escape and you just fly out, right? So that's like a really good power, because obviously you can of course escape, right, if you're stuck or whatever, or if someone hurts your body and you get a new body. But yeah, so Pieck, that was a really good chapter of Pieck. Oh man, it was a great Pieck chapter, really good Pieck chapter. Pieck being is badass, goddamn badass Pieck. I mean, otherwise, I do think, and I said earlier, and I wanna be right, of course, but I do think it's a weird thing that Eren can't create flyers, right? Like he can create freaking guys with like archery, bows, and javelin throwers, and they can do this and this, like Okapi, the giraffe zebra, or a pig. Then he can create all this crazy shit, but he can't do a bird, even though the audience have a bird, and it's clearly like the historical thing. I mean, unless Falco is the first bird, but nah, he's like, I guess okay, that's fine. That could be a thing, I suppose. I suppose so. If Falco is the first person to ever, okay, that's all the thing that will make like plot logical sense, I suppose, unless Eren sucks his powers, right? But I guess if like if Armin is the first one to ever be able to create the flying powers, I guess Eren couldn't use them. At the same time, Eren has the whole, I can see the future and the path and everything. So, like, why is he limited to like past powers? Can't he use like future powers too? In a way, you're like, why can't he use flying future powers anyway? One thing though, which I said earlier, right? I think in 2-3 chapters ago to that. From like an artistic standpoint, I'm talking purely visually. Of course, I want to see, Rock Titan, which is basically Armor Titan, right? Like another rock armor thing, and I want to see, different Pieck Jeans and so on, right? Of course, different cards and so on, like a jaguar thing. I think one chapter had some kind of, other 4 animal and like some crocodile, different kind of, there was one definite like an alligator crocodile. Yeah, like that's probably what Pieck is supposed to be, right? So kind of like 4-legged animal kind of thing, right? More animalistic. Like the classic opening where Zeke running with all the animals, right? So something like that. Of course, Zeke being a monkey, right? But you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's pretty clear that Pieck's, at least the more original Pieck, the older Pieck, the previous Piecks, they were kind of like more animals, right? They were like alligator or something similar, right? So that's cool to see, definitely. But in one way, though, and I do this, I wonder if that's like a plot thing or whatever, right? But I think one thing, though, to me, which is a little strange from plot standpoint, I suppose, is that Eren can create powers that he doesn't have, right? Because Eren has a few powers, right? He has, his powers, armor, founder, of course, the one. But it doesn't have, for example, Pieck, right? Pieck is Pieck, right? She's still the owner of the car Titan, right? Yeah. So I think that in one way, I wonder, like, why can he create every power, even if he have the power? What does that mean, right? But I mentioned though. But one thing I do think about saying that is, as I mentioned, from an artistic standpoint, of course, Ishiyama wants to draw all the different titans. Oh, look at this crocodile titan power! Like, he wants to draw them. So I feel like he just did it for that anyway, because it's cooler seeing all the different powers, right? No matter what. But from like a power standpoint, though, I do wonder if that means something, right? Like, why can Eren use compared to the flying thing? Why can Eren use like the card titan powers if he is not the owner of the card titan powers? Shouldn't he then be able to, create the flying powers? Because even if he doesn't have it historically wise, he can see the future and all this stuff. So wouldn't he be able to create a future power that he has then, given he has every power connected to the path thing and all this stuff, right? So it's a little bit tricky there, like what is the actual way he can work and so on, right? But anyway, Armin is still, he's inside of the thing now. He's beating Zeke, right? They're inside the path thing with the sand. And one thing that I actually think about, I'll say first, and I said earlier too in previous reviews and so on, is that remember Ymir, and I mean Ymir too, right? The Ymir Historia's girlfriend, right, of course, the second Ymir, when she is, let's call it, she gets reborn into power, right? She's kind of staring into a sky in desert kind of ish appearance. It looks very similar, right, to how it actually looks every time you see in the path. Like, for example, then here when Armin kind of stands up and look at that sky, right, and so on, and remember her eyes are kind of crying and so on. It's even more clear in the anime. So I wonder if that means something too, right? Obviously, we haven't seen Ymir the second. We haven't seen Ymir number 2, right? The hot, the hotter Ymir, yeah. We haven't seen her in years, of course, right? We saw her like briefly one panel, she dead, yeah, like dead off screen, right? But given that she also kind of like saw the path, right? In a way, it felt like she got the power. So I was like, I see the path, and I don't know, but I was throwing it out there that I'm not like overly sentimental. So people really love Ymir as a character. Right? I was like, yeah, Ymir's a good character. Historia, I think, is a much better character, right? Yeah, but they had their love and so on. I think Historia's a really good character. I think Ymir was a decent character. I think Historia's a better character. But so actually, that's kind of off topic here. But like a side note, I definitely miss Historia more. Yeah, Historia hasn't been in this arc at all, right? I mean, she's barely, she's pregnant and existing for like 1 page per, per 10 chapter, right? Yeah, at best, right? So I definitely miss Historia more this last arc than I miss Ymir, right? And of course Sasha is, Sasha, but you know what I mean. But still, though, I want to throw it out again because Armin is there and Zeke is like, oh, your Ymir ate you connected to Ymir now. Doesn't that make kind of sense if they kind of meet Ymir now in the pathway? I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, it's like a shower theory, but like, I just remember how this scene here with Armin was almost exactly the same as the time when Ymir awakens, right? When he's reborn. They have the knees on the ground. He has the same figure. I mean, body position. It looks almost exactly the same as the time when Ymir was reborn, or got the powers, whatever. It looks incredibly similar. Of course, she was at the Earth, but she wasn't in the world thing. But let's say she briefly entered the path team, right? And then she was out again. So I don't know, but I was throwing out if it's incredibly similar. When I saw the Armin thing, I was like, man, it looks almost exactly like the Ymir thing. And again, right, it feels weird. Ymir just got like killed off screen and she'll eat it, whatever. Let's go on, like, and so on. Especially if everyone's connected to this path thing and they have the powers and they're all connected somehow to the past and the present, right, and of course the future in the past thing. So why wouldn't she be able to maybe be in there too? I was throwing out that it looks incredibly similar to her, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it looks almost exactly the same. It really looks almost exactly the same here when Armin gets when he's like awakens here. He looks exactly like when Ymir awakens. It has to be a reason why, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they can meet Ymir inside the path thing as well now. Her spirit or whatever, right? Her past Ymir power or something. Or maybe it's the same girl, right? I mean, one thing I say here again is that, I mean, it's obviously a kind of clear theory, right? People had for many years, but like, we know why they named it Ymir, but still, like, it's like a weird thing that Ymir, the character, actually named Ymir after the other Ymir, that she has like zero importance of the last arc whatsoever. She got killed like off screen in the first chapter, basically. Got the first arc, yeah, it's like, what happened to her? Yeah, what happened to that girl? And now I see Armin having the exact, I'm reborn, I see the world, the paths, like, and she was crying and saw the same thing, right? So that to me again looks like very suspicious, right? So I'm throwing it out there. Short theory I had right now. But it feels, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ymir appears next chapter, right? And talks to Armin and so on, yeah. Anyway, I do feel now then, I mentioned earlier jokingly, but I do feel that the fear now, right, is that it's gonna be some Naruto, talk to jutsu, bullshitty, you know what I mean? I do feel that's gonna be the thing, right, honestly. He's in with Zeke, he's probably gonna be able to talk to Ymir, I mean Ymir the younger, and also Ymir the older, yeah, whatever, but I mean generally, I think Armin's gonna talk to Eren, right? And they're gonna have this like, you know, best friend philosophy discussion, and he might either be able to stop Eren or at least stall him or something, right, by having this mind discussion. And I still hope Armin's gonna end up with Annie, of course, the love story, but yeah, like it feels definitely going that, you know, Naruto pain or something similar to that route, right, where they're gonna meet and have like a discussion about who should be right or wrong, killing everyone or being friends and holding hands and sticking count. It really feels like the anime is the manga is going in that route in the last chapter, right? Armin now inside the path thing and gonna have to like discussion with Eren. That feels like that's gonna happen a lot, right? And hopefully it won't be like a ridiculous, you know, Eren is like, I agree with you, Armin, let's just plug, yeah, I don't know, revive everyone, button, revive the planet. Like I don't think they're gonna go that route, but like, you know, worst case scenario, Eren is like, by using my power of Titan, I can just revive everyone that I killed, and everyone is fine, and there's no more power anymore, and everyone's in peace, and world peace. Like, that would be the worst ending ever, but, you know, I've seen it happen in other men. Oh, God, yeah, like, oh my God, that happens. But I think something like that. I don't think it's gonna go that route. I don't think so, but I do think it's gonna go in that direction, right? Where Armin is not gonna convince Eren. Or at least, as I mentioned, stall him, right? And that's gonna like help them. So, but anyway, we have a few chapters left, right? It's exciting coming here. We only have very few chapters left. We have 3 or 4 left, I guess. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. See how it ends, right? But I do feel, though, I said it probably last review too, but I do feel that it is kind of getting into this like really end game thing now. And I mean, I think it's a also Pieck especially, very enjoyable Pieck scenes, you know, the best girl, the ultimate fan service, seeing a badass best girl, better than any kind of fan service, you know, plot stuff. But it's a little bit, I mean, I enjoy the chapter, obviously. I think, you know, Annie and Mikasa, it's a very like cool badass fight girls, mostly, definitely. I definitely enjoyed that, and you know, Falco looking good and so on. But it also in a way it feels like it. I don't talk about like Naruto, but it kind of reminds me of Naruto. Not only in, for example, Naruto and also other mangas, but it reminds me of course, not the pain, the Naruto stuff, but I mean the war Naruto, right? Like the revival war, for example, in Naruto, or the similar mangas like Made Immortal. And so on, where it's kind of like, oh, everyone is here now, every character is gathered, and they have this like, you know, final war. It feels a very like final war, and I felt that's been that for probably the last 5-6 chapters or so. Has felt very like final war. So it's very much like, let's win the war, you know. So you kind of definitely, I feel, waited for a while now, probably for the last 3-4 months for the end, right? Because it really has to feel now where everyone is fighting and everyone is doing bad stuff. And everyone is doing bad stuff. It's kind of like when you watch the Avengers movie, right? And everyone is like, yeah, and it all, you know, Avengers assemble, and everyone comes together from the different time frames and different universes, and you know, and they're like, let's fight. You know, had this like cool pose. It feels like they had that pose like a half a year ago, right? So it's like, come on, can you finally win this war? It's a little bit like that. Feels like I'm also surprised it's gonna end in a few chapters, right? Because like, man, yeah, they did that pose thing. That was like 3-4 chapters ago at least, right? So I feel like we've been there now. Let's defeat the bad guy, Eren. Yeah, damn Eren. Eren. I really hope Eren doesn't use, you know, I say it every week, every time. I hope Eren doesn't use like, you know, oh, we're all friends and he can. I don't know. Yeah, man, who wants to see Eren just being like redeemed, right? After like destroying half the planet. It would be if he does the whole world peace, reviving everyone, but this is a lame ending. We're gonna see, it's gonna be sad to see, but I hope it goes, I mean, the title is a little more grim, right, than other mangas. I hope it goes a little more dark. But at the same time, you know, as a last point here, I really don't, I want to see it go like a medium dark route, really. I don't want it to be like, oh, he revives everyone and everyone is happy. I don't want to see that. But I also want to see, you know, Annie, you know, smashing Armin, right? I want to see, you know, I don't know, Jean, I don't know. Jean just kind of bad. Jean has to survive. Come on, it's my Jean has to survive, right? And so on. Jean and Pieck, maybe, see? They're fighting together now. Oh, I ship. Best girl, best boy, from the best standpoint. Oh, I ship. You know. No, but honestly, absolutely. I mean, I hope the chapter ends, the story ends with a kind of medium thing, right? Where they did just like they saved the planet, but a lot of people died, so, you know, shit happens, right? And maybe Mikasa dies, or, I don't know, Connie, or, you know, someone dies, right? Rainer probably dies. And, you know, Rainer definitely probably dies. That guy, he probably dies. You know, and so on, right? So we can have some death scenes, but not everyone, right? I don't want to see everyone who's dying. I don't want to see everyone is being like, oh, they won, but they all died, and then whatever. Yeah, like I want to see the middle ground where they win the war, but Eren doesn't just like fix the whole plan immediately, right? It's kind of like a shitty world. But the powers are gone now, so Maul and Eldin are kind of, they're like friends now, or whatever. Kind of friends, I mean, they kind of, you know. And, you know, some of them survive. Like, you know, Pieck survives, Jean survives, Annie, Armin survives. Mikasa maybe survives. I can say Mikasa dying to matter, yeah. Connie probably survives. I think Connie... I said way back when, of course, Cecil died. I was like, it's either going to be one of these two characters I felt, since I died in that scene, and the next... After that, I was like, well, if Cecil dies now, I actually have a very hard time seeing Connie dying, because they both be feeling that kind of like the supportive role, right? Where they aren't like super important for the character, they're just kind of there being a kind of moral support, you know, not the best friend, but like a good friend. So I have a hard time seeing Connie dying, because Cecil already died. So Connie is probably going to be like, you know, surviving, because, you know, like she died, so he's going to be fine. Probably, honestly, I think that's probably why. Honestly, probably. I think Jean is more important. Obviously, Jean is the best character. But Jean, honestly, I think, I'm also saying it because I'm biased because I love Jean, right? But I think Jean has always had a lot more storyline than Connie. Come on, Connie's marvelous thing, but Jean has a lot more, you know, character development. He's more of like, you know, centered character, and different his, you know, reaction with, you know, Armin and Eren and so on. Right? So Jean's always been a lot more important, I feel, for a lot of the moments, especially the development of not him but also other characters, right? Where Connie is just kind of been there. Connie's like, he's a good friend, he's gonna have to outfight the shit, you know. But it hasn't been like the Connie. I mean, Jean is like an antagonist to begin, right? He's an antagonist, Eren. So yeah, Connie is just like the best friend, right? But he's not the best friend. He's not the Armin, right? And the same way, Sasha is not Mikasa, right? So both of them has always been kind of like the side friend, you know, like the level 2 friend, not the best, you know, not the B friendship, you know, not the A friendship, right? Jean is kind of like the D-E friendship, but also kind of like a really good friend, sometimes, and also kind of an enemy, sometimes. Yeah, you know what I mean. Jean is quite different, right? It's kind of like another kind of friendship where you're kind of angry at him a lot of time, but also you kind of like him, you know, that kind of guy, right? Where Connie is just he's a good friend, you know, he's a good friend, but not the best friend. He's not the best friend. That's what I mean. So I think Connie will survive them, because obviously the other very good friend died, right? So I think that's the reason why. Honestly, I think I saw that, but I think that Connie probably has the least lucky death scene. He probably dies next chapter, but I think Connie has a very low death chance, honestly. Where I feel Jean again, then he's a more important character for storyline than for Eren, especially. And he has a lot high death rate, and I think, you know, Rainer, he's like, he wants to die, you know what I mean. And Rainer's like, oh, I want to fight to death, so he probably, and Annie and so on, they have a lot more, you know, at stake. But I think too that, like, you know, Annie is clearly in love with Armin now. Doesn't want to admit it because she's Tsundere, but she's clearly in love with Armin and so on, right? And you know what I mean, and you know, Gabby and Falco and so forth, right? They have a little more to live for. Connie is just that the guy is there, you know. I feel sorry for Connie now, because he's kind of there. Yeah, Connie isn't like, I have to save my love interest, or I have to do this thing, or my father is dying over there, you know, Annie has her dad too and so on, yeah. Or Gabby has her, you know, parents and stuff, right? Connie's just kind of there. Connie's just the guy that happens to be. He's like, I also want to save the planet. Fight though, Gabriel. He's just kind of, you know, he's just a guy that happens to be at the worst place ever, but also saving the planet. So he just kind of happens to be saving the planet, right? Where almost every other character has more of like an enrichment with other characters. He's just kind of the guy, you know. But also, you kind of can say that I wouldn't ship him and Sasha just because reasons, because it's like the last couple out there, but it's kind of like, you know, Sasha and him were kind of like, you know, very tight, and when she died, you know, it's kind of like he was unfortunately kind of left outside having like a true best friend, bro. So he's or a romance interest, right? He's kind of there now, fighting for the planet, right? So man, I feel sorry for Connie now. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, Connie, he just kind of happens to be there. Shit, man, that guy's pulled out. But that, again, that's my very long point. But I really think so that Connie won't die, especially at chapter. Yeah, Connie has all. This chapter is like, you know, and it's like, no, Armin, I love you. I mean, I like. Save him. How's Pieck going? Yeah, like, you know, so on, right? And Pieck and Jean has like at the moment. I shifted. I was like, Pieck and Jean has that now. It's like, Jean, don't, you know, believe in me, Jean. I'm badass power. She's like, oh, you're pretty cool girl. That's right, I'm a cool girl. So they had that moment going on too. I was like, man, yeah, this is I really like this moment, Jean and Pieck. That's a nice line, yeah. But you know what I mean? That's happening, and then Connie's there's like, I also want to save the planet, but I don't have any like romance or like drama, or I'm just like, I'm also here, guys, fighting and cutting titans, you know. I feel so sorry for Connie now, but also that probably why he will survive, right? Because there's no like dramatic thing if he dies. If he dies, that is the least dramatic death, right? It really is, because if Jean dies, it's gonna be like, no, that's the antagonist friend guy, he can't die. If, you know, and so on, right? But if Connie dies, it's like, oh yeah, Connie died. He's like, well, I mean, I don't dislike his character, but it's like, oh, I guess, you know, he's kind of a lone runaway, and he already lost his love interest, whatever. This guy's kind of like, I feel really sorry for Connie now, Jesus Christ. The more I think about it, the more sorry I feel for Connie. The more I feel like, oh man, Connie, you poor guy, man, poor guy. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, holy shit, man, he's just kind of there. He's just kind of in the war and dying. He's there getting damaged. Because, I mean, every other character is like, I love you, I'm going to say this character, or, you know, I'm going to say my dad or something. No one has a kind of relationship or something most of the time. Or, and you know, Jean has that rated him. He's like, I hate you, I hate Eren. So Jean has that antagonistic, you know, love rival thing at least going on for him, right? But Connie is just like, yeah, shit. Oh my god. Oh, Connie. Well, anyway, that's the review, guys. And, you know, if Connie dies now, I'm gonna be so disappointed, because but it really is the least dramatic death, right? Because no one loves him. Oh my god. Anyway, subscribe, press the like button, go to anime reaction coming on 2 days from now. Almost 1 day from now. It's almost Saturday here now, and some other new anime is coming tomorrow, right? I think One Piece is back tomorrow, and so on. Of course, One Piece chapter 1001, I think, coming soon. It's gonna be badass, you know. Man, One Piece forever. That's never ending. That's never ending. Oda is like, I'm ending it in 5 years from now. You said that 10 years ago. Oh, you know, this time is real. 20 years later. But anyways, you guys have a great day.